Today, Precarious plays
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
I'm gonna keep going. I think that hopefully it will be challenging instead of unwinnable. It's hard to tell because usually I am just sort of obviously going to be the victor, you know? But right now I'm outnumbered. I would say understaffed.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the right people. I think it mostly depends on if... See, he just keeps running around damaging MP.
Yeah.
And see, like this guy, I already got his armor, so I can try to knock him out. Like if the computer were smarter, that's the thing. If the computer were smarter, I would lose this battle.
Yeah.
Because right now, Isaac, I think, is about to knock this guy out. Because the dummy came up and tried to do a melee basic attack on someone that has strike back. So I negated it. And then punched him back for a lot of his HP.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and last episode, everybody was ganging up on New Kid, the helpless, petrified statue.
Yeah, you noticed that, huh?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I mean, maybe they're strong, but maybe they dumb, too. Like, that could happen. Sometimes it's not enough to just be strong. Yeah. I'm gonna say that's holding true at the moment.
But you had questions?
I did have questions. I still have questions about this whole series and in general. I don't know it. I know it's a series by the nature of it sharing titles, right? So there's Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy
Fantasy, my favorite one. Fan favorite sequel, Final Fantasy Tactics.
Sorry.
Vance, just Vance. Just a guy named Vance come in and talks to you about Moogles.
And they're fantities.
They're fantastic.
So there's FFT, FFTA, and FFTA2. GOTR, yeah. What?
A2, I think, is the only one, until the remake of one of them that had a subtitle. It was Grimoire of the Rift.
Oh, so it's FFTA2GOTR?
Well, no, that's absurd. I had to struggle to remember the subtitle of that game. I was just funning ya. I was just having a little fun.
I was about to start playing the acronym game with you. I was like
what the
Goblins
hell?
on the Run.
No.
Game of the Ramen. Guardians of...
The Ramen.
Guardians of the Ramen. Maybe I just want some ramen.
Oh, he almost just got me. Wow.
Shoot.
I don't know if that was on purpose, but I just nearly...
Bit it?
In a sense, yeah, because he very stupidly did a melee basic attack, and I was like, what did he do that for? And I forgot about the copycat law, and I was gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna knock this person down now, it'll be fine. So ask me, give me those cues so I can give you my A. So sorry. I'm so sorry.
You are forgiven this time. Now.
Don't let it happen again.
Yeah. So, are there any characters that share continuity along the track of the three games? There aren't, right?
No, there are.
There are. Which is A and A2? Do they share characters?
That's a yes, definitely. Let's start there. Absolutely yes.
Okay.
Now, to
Which
go one
ones?
step further, Mute. Definitely Mute.
Okay.
But it's an older Mute. An older, wiser, I would say more handsome Mute.
Okay. Now, here's a question. So, Ivalice is like a big pile of ruined garbage in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance that just happens to have like weird. It's ruins. It has weird, amazing relics.
That's Tactics.
In Tactics, yes, the first one.
Yeah, I think it feels like a region, especially like maybe not at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are some definite like areas of opulence.
Yeah.
But compared to this game with all of its culture, right?
Yeah.
Like 5 different races more in A2. Working together every day in these vivid environments with like these crazy like Technicolor backgrounds you can see there.
Yeah.
Compared to that, Final Fantasy Tactics, the original, is just dreary, right?
Yeah.
It feels like a world on the decline. You have an important sort of secondary character situation, a young like mechanist,
Yeah.
who his job is just digging through old shit and trying to figure out how it works without accidentally dying because of it, like from the act of interacting with it.
Yeah. So I know how, and a couple of episodes ago when you were talking about the environment of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, like the first one, you had said that it was far less diverse as far as like species of sentient creatures.
Yeah.
And were the environments also less diverse? It was just kind of like a desperate place.
No, I don't think so. I think that,
Just the area of Ivalice.
well, no, I think that the map variety is pretty similar. In fact, I would say that there's probably a wider variety of... No, I would say that Final Fantasy Tactics, the original, actually probably has better map variety.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were bogs and meadows and one of the earliest maps that a player is likely to encounter.
Yeah.
It's just this open field that has like these stands of stone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very pretty.
Are there... Okay, so pretty much all of this game takes place in Ivalice.
Hold on, wait, I'm sorry, I need to back up and I need to mention, the map, you could use the shoulder buttons to turn the map in Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
You'll notice that almost all of the maps in this game, they always have to roughly be laid out like this, where
Yeah.
they're visible from one direction, right?
Yeah.
If there's any ascending, if there's any verticality to the map, it's gotta be like up here in this corner,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Tactics did not have that restriction and wasn't like that. So you had like these claustrophobic little cities where maybe there would be like a building over here. Actually, I'm thinking of a specific map early on, one of like, I think one of the more infamous ones where there's sort of like a difficulty spike.
Yeah.
There's one big like stack of buildings over here, and then there's a smaller building here connected, I think, with like a little bridge maybe to a tiny little building over here.
But you can turn the map so it's okay.
Yeah, so you don't get blocked, but it basically, you have like this T-shaped intersection on the ground, and that's death. That's where you go to die early on in the game. Anyway, sorry. What was your next question?
You were talking earlier about Ivalice versus Saint Ivalice. This here, where we are now, where New Kid is sitting around loafing about like he's not important, which might be true. This place is Ivalice.
For the purposes of conversation, now I should mention that as much as I like, really, I would say all 3 of these games, even though I don't like A2 as much as this one, I want to replay it again because I think it might actually be better, and maybe I just didn't realize it when I played it the first time. Like maybe my nostalgia for this game
is misplaced.
Well, just blinded me to
Oh, I see.
the improvements that they made in the second one. Anyway, for purposes of conversation, this is probably most helpfully referred to as like grimoire Ivalice.
Okay. And then
Because as much as I like all of the games, I don't like them so much as to do a bunch of like a lore dive
yeah.
to try to figure them all out. I much prefer. Oh dear. I much prefer sort of just piecing together my own ideas based on what's presented. So I think that the sequence of events as I imagine them, and I do not know if this is canon or not, if this is like the official timeline, but what I imagine, it's the only time you actually are in Ivalice, it's in like Final Fantasy XII, and I guess possibly the Wings of something, Wings of Freedom. I can't remember. There was a spin-off title, I think, for like the DS, maybe? That game, those two games, I think you are actually in Ivalice. Then I think that there's sort of like the near past, which was the Ivalice in Final Fantasy Tactics, which eventually becomes Saint Ivalice, which is like the modern day. And then you can experience a record of the old Final Fantasy XII Ivalice, right? Through the power of the grimoire that is featured in this game and A2.
So which game is Saint Ivalice in?
Advance and A2. Because St. Ivalice, that's that snowy town that you start this game in.
Okay. I
At
think
least.
I'm beginning to untangle it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a lot, and they're not... Understanding it isn't necessary to...
Enjoy like the beautiful mechanics of these games.
You know, the more I think about it, not even necessarily the mechanics, just the presentation. That's where I think Final Fantasy games are usually the strongest. I could talk for a long time about that.